Tony Robbins said, "Knowledge is not power, it's potential power. Execution will trump knowledge every day." Have you ever wondered why so many people suck at productivity? We have hundreds and hundreds of books on self-improvement. We have thousands and thousands of articles and videos online that talk about how to improve your productivity. So why do we still suck at being productive? Well, it's kind of easy to read and consume, but it's all about taking the right action. And when we want to become productive, don't take me wrong, it's good to read and consume that content because we don't want to invent the wheel again. But there is a time to actually start executing and doing something. So if you have been reading and consuming the self-improvement content for the past months or years, you should be seeing some kind of results. So if you are not, then there's something went wrong. Either you didn't take action or you didn't take the right action. So if this sounds a little bit like you, write down below in the comment section self-improvement junkie. But don't worry, I have your back. I have 4 steps that you can take right now so you can start your journey towards a productive life. And then I have extra 5 tips to help you along the way. So let's get started. Step number 1, outline your situation. This is really important. Take a paper and pen. Don't do it in your head because that just doesn't work. Do it on paper so there is no excuse and you really do it properly. First, outline your situation and write down in 5 categories, which would be health, wealth, personal relationships, career, and personal development. If you have an extra category that is really important in your life, then go ahead and put it there and write down where you are at right now. How is it going? How you're happy with it? What would you like to improve, etc. Then look back at where you were approximately 2 years ago. Again, do the same thing. And then look at where you would like to be in 2 years. Again, in all the categories, describe where would you like to be. Then if you have goals that you have set maybe in the past, like at the beginning of this year or last year, write them down. Write down how it actually looked like. So what goal did you write down and so on. If you do this properly, it should take you at least 2 hours and up to like the whole day. So this is really essential. Take your time and do this properly. Step number 2, analyze the situation. Now you outline your situation, now it's time to analyze it. Look at each category one by one and really see where were you, where you are now, and where do you want to be. If you have the goals there, then look at the goals and analyze what have you achieved, how many of the goals were you able to succeed in. And if you didn't, then analyze why did that happen. Maybe the goals were not so important for you, so maybe you didn't even really start. Maybe the goals were too ambitious. Then it's a good idea to think about, okay, this is the reason why I failed. This is why it was too ambitious, or maybe you didn't outline any action plan. Maybe the goals were not truly yours. This I think I see very, very often, that people feel like they need to work on something. They feel this external pressure to become someone, and they set up as a goal, yes, of course I want to lose 10 kilos, or of course I want to run a marathon, or of course I want to be the next CEO of XY company and so on. But it's not really something that they want to do. And if you don't want to do it, then don't set the goal up. It's like you're living your life for yourself, not for someone else. Once you analyze the situation, once you understand why the goals, why you failed, or even why you achieved the goal. So if there is one goal that, or several goals, then well done, that you really achieved, like understand why you achieved those and not the other ones. So it might be because it was really important for you. Maybe there was someone else who was following the same goal and you kind of tagged along and you motivated each other, and that's something that works for you. Maybe it was something where you had a really good action plan, you had the environment that supported it. It's really important to understand not only why you failed, but also why you succeeded, so you can then then replicate those steps into your next goals. Once you analyze that, look at and rate each category on how important the category is for you in the next 2 years. And again, be honest, because, of course, we know health and personal relationships are really important and should be on the top, but maybe in the next 2 years, wealth is the most important thing for you, or your career, and it's completely fine. No one is going to see what you're going to write down on the paper, so be 100% honest. Step number 3, create a plan. Now you know what category you want to focus on. Examine the category once again and look beyond those 2 years. Look what you want to achieve in this category in your lifetime. And then work your way backwards. So let's say you go for the health category and you're like, I want to be able to run a marathon under a certain time. And say, it's a lifetime goal, but maybe you want to achieve it in the next 10 years, it's probably easier to do it while you're younger than when you're older. So let's say you say, in 10 years, I want to be able to run a marathon under a certain time. That means that, let's say in 5 years, you want to be able to run a marathon, no matter the time that it takes you. That means in, 2 or 3 years, you want to be able to run a half marathon. Maybe at the end of this year or in a year, you would like to be able to run 10 Ks. And that means then in the next quarter, you would like to accumulate certain amount of kilometers every week that you run. In the next month, you would like to be able to run 1 kilometer uninterrupted, which means that this week you will start with accumulating 1K of running during one session. So once you have this kind of plan, you can see that if you would actually not work backwards, if you would say, I want to run a marathon under a certain time, you might be like, okay, if I want to run a marathon, I've never done anything like running before, but if I want to achieve my goal of running a marathon, I probably need to start running, and I need to start running a lot. So I probably need to go and run at least 10 kilometers 3 times a week. And if you would do that, if you would now, without the prior experience of running, if you would go and run 10K and then in 2 days again and then in 2 or 3 days again, you are going to fail 100%. You might push with your will and actually achieve it, but your body is going to be absolutely destroyed. You will probably not enjoy it at all. Your head is not going to be in the right place, and you're going to give up. And that's completely understandable, because it's a huge thing to do, to run 3 times a week 10Ks without any prior experience of running. And when you don't go this backwards journey, it might feel like you need to do it, but that's not true. Because if you go and let's say you start today and you go for a walk for half an hour, and you always run for 100 meters. You run 100 meters, then you walk for a few minutes, then again 100 meters, then again you walk until you accumulate 500 meters, and then you're done. And then in 2 days you go and you do the same thing, but you try to accumulate 800 meters. And then at the end of the week you go and you try to accumulate 1 kilometer, and suddenly you achieve this, which is a great result. And then next week you try and you do it, that you will try to accumulate 1 kilometer every single session. And then you will go and you don't do it in 100 meters, but you do it in 200 or 250 meters or even 500 meters. At the end of the month, you're able to run 1K without a problem. So it's about taking small actions today. And those small actions, which might seem almost insignificant, will lead you towards your goal of running a marathon in 10 years, or whatever your goal is. So make sure that you work backwards and you create a plan that is sustainable, that is achievable, and that is going to make you happy, that you're going to be proud, that you will be able to achieve, so you can actually have this endorphins from I have done it and I'm moving towards my goal. Step number 4, the last step and the most important step: take action. Yes, there is no reaction without an action. This is also the most difficult step for those self-improvement junkies. So if you know you are the person who is absorbing content but not doing much about it, remember this. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this: take action. Or not only take action, but take action today. Take action today, take action tomorrow, and take action the day after. Just take action. No matter how small it is, take action. And if you're going to read another self-improvement book or some kind of content, make a commitment and write it down below in the comment section that you are committing to that. Make a commitment that you are going to take at least one thing from that book or video or article, and you are going to turn it into an action. Because let's stop with this consuming reading, because it makes us feel good, right? It's good to read it. It's good to think about oh, I'm going to read this, and imagining that this person that is described in this book is actually me. But we need to take action. There is no other way. We need to take action. I also have 5 tips for you that you can follow, so it is a bit easier for you to implement the action part. Tip number 1, have only one goal. It is so easy to get excited and start planning all the different goals you want to work towards, but make sure you have only one goal. One goal, one category. So ignore everything else, because it's also important not only to say yes to taking action, but also to say no to all the other things that become a distraction. Tip number 2 is make it easy for yourself. So once you have the goal, really take a moment or even a little bit longer and think about how you can make it easier for you so you really succeed. Let's say you want to start running. Then think about making it a habit. Making it a habit so you do it every day, or on those days you want to do it at the same time. So let's say you're okay, I want to run at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then run always at 6 o'clock in the morning. Prepare your running clothes and shoes and keys and whatever you're taking with you the day before, so it's all there and ready, and once you wake up you can just put it on and go and running. So make it easy for yourself. Tip number 3 is eliminate potential problems. So we've already looked at in the goals that you didn't succeed in, what didn't work. So look at it again and understand what is your weakness, where you are failing, and then create a plan so this doesn't happen in this case. Tip number 4, make yourself accountable. There are many ways how you can make yourself accountable, and every way is perfect for a person, but you need to find the way that is perfect for you. So some of the examples how you can make yourself accountable is writing a journal, so journaling, a habit tracker, on your phone, for example. You can use your calendar. So a lot of people have a success with, not breaking the chain. So if you have a habit that you're doing daily or weekly or whatever, you always on that day when you do it, you make a cross on the calendar and you try not to break the chain. You can ask a friend who might be interested in achieving similar goal to, so you keep yourself accountable and motivated, and you check with them how they are doing every day, they check with you, and so on. You can also promise someone money if you fail to achieve your goal, etc., etc. The sky is the limit. There are a lot of possibilities how you can do that. Tip number 5 is take action. I know I covered it in the step process, but this is so important, and it's really, really easy, especially for the people who enjoy reading self-improvement content, to forget about this thing, and they just don't take action. So don't be like this. Take action today. Make sure you take action today. Doesn't matter how small it is, just take it today. So those were my steps and my tips. I hope it was helpful. I hope you will really take action and start moving towards your goals. Don't feel bad about the time you spend reading all the productivity books and self-improvement content, because this is going to be useful. This is going to help you. The knowledge is not lost. You just have to turn it into action and you will do great, I am sure. Write down below in the comment section the step you're going to take today, so I can keep you accountable. Also, like this video if you learned something new. Subscribe, it really helps this channel, it helps other people to discover it. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my next videos. Thank you for watching and I wish you a great and productive day. See you next time.